Oh, sorry, you caught me in the middle of something. Not really. I thought it might be a clever way to start this rant.
Just take it easy, man.
You can't handle the truth. Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
So with COVID and everything else going on, I haven't done one of my rants in a while. But I've started to follow the community a little bit more lately, and I thought I'd have something to say. I think that most of the new technology and news and the newsletter I even put out is for what I'm going to call the 10% developers. And that is the 10% that want to have a new job. And I don't mean just people that want to change their jobs. They want to go from development to maybe architect, maybe team lead, maybe development manager. They're the people that want everything to change. But there's a 90% developer out there. And that is the people that write most of the code. Most of the code that runs the world are by these people that work 9 to 5, work really hard, want to know about new technologies that are important to them, but don't want to necessarily always be in the cutting edge and be changing direction constantly. I'm one of those people who loves the new technology. That's why I teach. That's why I don't usually do a lot of project work, because I want to be seeing what's new and changing and ideas. But most developers aren't like that. If you're one of those developers, take a deep breath, because you're doing a great job. I think it can be difficult to be one of those 90% and just go and do your job day after day. You don't have a blog, you don't have a Twitter account, you're not trying to find followers or being an influencer. You're doing your job and you love your job. Your job is likely problem solving and you get to enjoy it some percentage of the time. Some percentage of the time you're bug triaging, tearing your hair out about how you went about something. You have all sorts of legacy code that is dragging your project down. And you think you're alone in that. You see these people get up at conferences, including me, and talk about the newest thing and how cool that is. But for you, it's not cool. You have to go back to the code that you lived and breathed and are doing a great job on. And I want you to really focus on that. The reality is not everybody needs to be changing code. There are lots of ASP Classic, web forms projects out there that are doing great business. They're building these small and medium-sized businesses, in some case Fortune 500 companies. And they're doing a fine job. You don't need to rewrite your project every 5 years just because you can. I once worked at a company in Boston, and when we would get about a third into the project, someone new would take over as a development director and we would change the entire direction. Sometimes it was for a business need because we had to have a relationship with a certain vendor. Sometimes it was just that at their old job, they used Java instead of C#, or they used Oracle instead of SQL Server, or they didn't believe in desktop apps, everything had to be the web. It's okay. You have to remember that the code that we live by, the code that everyone around the world survives by, is written by a lot of developers out there. Someone had to write the code that's in the stoplight. Someone had to write the code that's in the on or off sign. Someone had to write the code that the IRS uses to do audits. A lot of it's ugly. A lot of it's what developers in the 10% would think of as bad code, or full of technical debts, or not well documented, or not having a lot of code coverage. All of that is great when you have that opportunity to use it. It really is. It can make your life and your company better in the long run. But this is where we sit. This isn't the reality for everybody. Sometimes we have to be creating new code to get new customers so that you can get your paycheck. And what you've accumulated, instead of having 4,000 different skills on your resume, often is the domain knowledge about the company you're working with or the industry that you're in. And that is incredibly valuable. I think if we focused as an industry less on the exact developer skills and realize that developer skills can be learned, and focus on domain skills as being the really important ones. Understanding how healthcare works, or shipping works, or trucking companies, or satellite companies, or car companies. All of that is knowledge that helps you build the application regardless of how you're building it. You can build great code with old CGI scripts on a web server, just like you can with the latest version of .NET Core. Might be harder, might be fewer people out there who are familiar with it, but understanding what the real need of what you're doing is the important part. Keep your chins up, because I believe in you. I know that all of you are working hard. Sometimes we miss it. And thank you for keeping the whole world running. This has been another rant. This has been Shawn Wildermuth. Please like and subscribe, you know that helps. And I'll see you next time.